Hi, this is Jeff Stone of Grandpa's Pride Barbecue from the Panhandle of Florida, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about the most important things that are happening in the live fire industry to date. The show originating from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
If you missed the first hour, don't worry. We are recording.
Boing.
You can get that podcast early morning tomorrow. On Thursday, you'll get hour number 2 of the show. On Friday, you will get a best of, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Still to come on the show this evening, Melzie Wilson, the organizer at Smoke Slam Barbecue Festival. She'll be joining us for no less than 1, possibly 2 segments. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platform partners. You may or may not be able to go to Facebook, which I am sure, at least on my end, isn't going through, but maybe it has. Well, hold on. Let me look through the thing here. It says it's going to Stream 1, which should be Facebook, but I don't know exactly where that is. Maybe it's on my personal page now. It's been going to the show page for years. But when I went to turn it on today, it was not going to go to the show page, so that's fine. Maybe it's on the personal page. Facebook.com/BBQ Central Show. You may or may not find it there. You will find it. Twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. You will also find it over on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we also have a YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody this question. Okay, this question. Will you watch the UFL this spring since the NFL season is officially over as of this past Sunday? And 69% of you are saying you will not watch it. You will not.
Andrew, you are
not watching the UFL. All right. 31% of you love football a lot. You'll watch it no matter what. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, episode 321, taking you back to February 21st, 2012. 2012? I think so. This time around, 2012, we feature a highly accomplished pitmaster, a sauce maker, a co-packer from where? Wauchula, Florida, Matt Barber of Hot Wauchulas. Believe it or not, back in 2012, it was Matt's first time appearing on the show. He went on to appear a number of times after this. And for a good portion of time, Matt was one of the most dominant teams on the FBA circuit. He also did quite well over on the KCBS side of things when he traveled to those. Remember, a lot of the folks that were competing in Florida Barbecue Association, I'm talking about it like it's not a thing anymore. It is. But when we were really covering competition barbecue on the show, all sanctioning bodies concerned, a lot of the folks that were doing FBA were doing that one because there were not a lot of KCBS contests that were even remotely close. I'm talking within 8 to 10 hours, especially if you lived on the Gulf side and you were more south. You were kind of screwed in that whole thing. So the FBA brought competition to you locally in your state. And then for those of you that were really into it, you wanted to travel out, try some other sanctioning bodies, maybe you do some SCA, what was that? SCBBQA, South Carolina Barbecue Association. Maybe you do KCBS. Maybe you do some Memphis in May, Memphis Barbecue Network stuff. But FBA was huge, still pretty big thing going on. Matt was doing very well in FBA, also KCBS. As I had mentioned a few moments ago, Matt also runs a highly successful co-packing business, and he is especially helpful to the folks that are looking to get into the sauce and rub business. And he doesn't require huge initial orders like a lot of the other companies that do across the country. So if you're looking to get into this part of the business, you don't need a huge initial order. You can get some really great guidance, insight, maybe a price quote from Matt. Certainly a trusted source for insight and intel as far as that's concerned. And if you're not familiar with Matt, it's a good segment to get acquainted with him. He's coming off a Reserve Grand Championship at the then Sam's Club local event back in the day when Sam's Club was a thing, if you can remember that. So I think you'll enjoy it. You can subscribe to the Best of Show by going to thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe and subscribing to the podcast feed. Don't forget, if you want to hear a guest or segment you think's been lost in the archives, email John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com and let him know you would like to hear it. He'll do his best to meet your expectation. All right, I mentioned it with Meathead in the first hour, but we have a quick update. The raw chicken guy on Instagram is still alive, still pumping out raw chicken eating content. This is day 26. He's just shy of 400,000 Instagram followers. And today he consumed raw chicken breast with hot sauce on it. He also swallowed what appeared to be perhaps 6 to 8 raw eggs out of a glass. And then he also ate a whole non-shelled a whole egg, a raw egg with the shell on it, dropped the whole thing in his mouth and ate it. Everything had hot sauce on it this time around. This guy's a monster. I feel like this is dangerous, and I'm not recommending anybody do it. But you can watch him on Instagram do it every day until he gets a tummy ache. And if you don't have a tummy ache by day 26, you're probably not going to get a tummy ache.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I'm wondering if I'll be interested next week, because I was less interested this week than I was the week before. And again, we're on day 26, so we're just over 4 weeks with it. Okay. Email from Peter in Indiana. Hey, Greg, I don't know if you're going to take this email the wrong way or not. But please know that this is not meant in a mean-spirited way. My question is this. Do you find it odd that Sam the cooking guy is a friend of yours? As in, don't you get more benefit from the relationship than he does? I'm not implying that there isn't a real friendship here. Obviously there is. But from an outsider like myself looking in, if I'm looking at the two of you independently, he should be getting booked on a podcast more in the vein of a Joe Rogan type famous show or something of that caliber versus Barbecue Central show. Again, no offense, just wondered if you'd ever thought about it like that before. Podcast listener only. Regards, Pete. Pete, no offense taken. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, Peter. I don't know if I've ever thought about it like that per se. I have often thought that I consider myself, lucky that I can actually call Sam a friend. We talk ad nauseum off air. What you see once a month, we're talking 10, 15, 20 times a month, text messaging at any and all hours of the night about nonsense. So I value and appreciate the friendship that Sam and I have been able to build over the last 12 or 13 years. Sam's been coming on the show since 2010. Might have been his first appearance. Maybe it was 2009, but not long after the live show started back in 2008 did I find Sam doing a live show of his own and reached out, and that's where the friendship started, or that's where the acquaintance started. And we've been able to become friends over time after that. I can sum it up in this way. Do I think he gets less benefit out of being my friend the way you're looking at it, Pete? 100%. I can't even argue that. Not even my wit, my wisdom, my Hollywood good looks can overcome what he has garnered, earned, and established within this industry. I almost feel like, I don't know if you listen to this podcast or not, but there's a show called the Pete and Sebastian Show. So you have Pete Corielli, stand-up comic. You have Sebastian Maniscalco, stand-up comic. Both of them doing the same thing. I'm not saying Sam and I are doing the same thing, but he's into cooking, I'm into cooking, whatever. Pete is an accomplished stand-up comedian. However, if you compare Sebastian Maniscalco to Pete, they're not even on the same level. Sebastian in movies, got the show on Max called The Bookie. He's selling out Madison Square Garden for comedy shows 5 nights in a row. Pete and Sebastian are not on the same playing field when it comes to success. However, it is undeniable the friendship and the camaraderie and the ability they have to go back and forth with each other in their podcast. If I were to sum up anything, I would say that is the best example of a Sam and Greg relationship. Sam being Sebastian, me being Pete Corielli, and somehow it just works. Even though Sam is mega famous and he's got almost 4 million YouTube subscribers, he's won multiple Emmys, and I have dick. Somehow, magic happens each and every month when he comes on the show, and that is backed up by a true friendship that we have outside of the show. And as he likes to point out every once in a while, we've never met in person. I do believe that within the next 12 months, that's probably going to change. And I feel like a floodgate opens up once that does happen. But again, highly appreciative, totally value the friendship. If it's one-sided or appears one-sided to you, Pete, that's on you. But I can't look at it that way because if I do, I'll cry. So I'm not even going to think about it. Yeah. All right, we have Melzie Wilson ready to come in here. We're going to be talking about Smoke Slam, of course. So stay tuned for that. Before we get to her, I will talk to you about Franklin Barbecue Pits. The last couple weeks, we are here for the Certified Franklin Dealer Drive. You know the telethons that they have for those shows trying to raise money? Forget about money. Well, don't forget about money, but we're trying to raise the dealer network number here for Franklin Barbecue Pit. So, if you frequent a live fire shop that does carry grills and they don't have any offset pits, high-level offset pits, I'm not talking about those pieces of crap, but they don't have a high-level offset pit, then I recommend you tell that person to get online at franklinbbqpits.com and search out where the dealer form or dealer application is and fill one out. That will follow up. Possibly, if everything works out, you set up as a certified Franklin Barbecue Pits dealer. If you own a store, you're looking to get into selling pits, or you already sell them, we don't sell the offset, you want something that has a lot of notoriety, has a lot of name cachet with it, Franklin Barbecue Pit is the one you want to bring in. Not only does it have the name recognition and that type of pop within the general public, thing is built like a beast, 1/4-inch steel, it's going to be around for 100 years or more as long as you care for it, right? There's not any of these moving parts, electric nonsense. It's not going to break. And the thing cooks like a dream. Holds temp perfect. You can run on a mix of splits and charcoal. You can just run charcoal, throw in chunks of wood for wood smoke if you want. You can do the exact opposite, supplement with charcoal to increase your wood split time. It's almost foolproof. It's not totally it's fool poor, not foolproof. And as a business owner, don't you want to carry the cream of the crop? I called it the silent salesman last week, and really that's what it is. If you don't have one on the floor, you can talk about it all you want. The best selling is when it sells itself. For the customer to walk into your store, now that you're a new certified Franklin dealer, because you went to franklinbbqpits.com and you signed up to become a dealer, You got one on the floor, maybe you got 2, 3, 4 back in the warehouse. As you sell them off the floor, you can just recycle them in and out. Premier Pit. Let's go. Let's ramp up the pit count and let's ramp up the dealer count because everybody wants to live next to a certified Franklin Barbecue Pit dealer. Plus, you have accessories that you can put in. It's a great revenue stream to bring into the store. FranklinBBQPits.com. That's FranklinBBQPits.com. And we're back with Melzie Wilson right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Currently available in 3 sizes. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal, especially if you're looking into getting into the upright barrel cooker. This is the premier upright barrel cooker. PitBarrelCooker.com is the website, and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Joining me in the second hour tonight, a well-respected and accomplished barbecue professional. She has been credited with bringing the Memphis Barbecue Network sanctioning to this year's new event, Smoke Slam. For years and years, a name associated with contests like Memphis in May, but like some other big names in the industry this year, she has joined the steering committee on what will be the other barbecue festival that takes place Thursday, May 16th through Saturday, May 18th. Here to talk about her history in Memphis barbecue and, of course, Smoke Slam is first-time guest Melzie Wilson. Melzie, appreciate you coming on the show here this evening, talk all about Smoke Slam and all this other stuff. Before we do that, we have a YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking all guests and everybody watching on YouTube this. Will you watch the the UFL this spring now that the NFL season officially ended this past Sunday?
Football fanatic. So I have to say, I'll say yes.
All right.
Some, maybe.
All right. 30% of you are voting yeses, and 70% of us's are voting no's. I said my time is fleeting, so I can't waste time on second-rate anything. I have to watch the elite of the elite because, if I was 20 years old, maybe I could waste some time, but I got no time to waste anymore. And we'll see how the rest of the poll works out.
I go into football withdrawals.
What's your team?
Well, I love SEC football. That's my game. But I'm also a season ticket holder for New Orleans Saints.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have been since for almost 12, 13 years now.
Wow, long timer.
Yeah. I feel very fortunate.
Are you a Memphis native?
I was born and raised in the Mississippi Delta. Kind of made it through the South to Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've been here in Memphis since late 80s.
Always around barbecue growing up. I mean, obviously, when we're talking about the South, I think a lot of people would stereotypically think that everybody down there is Southern style barbecue related somehow, but is that how it went for you?
I grew up as a kid on a farm, and it was nothing for July 4th, and they'd do a backhoe, and they'd bury a calf, they'd bury, goat, pig, you name it, and cover it in tin, and July 4th, everybody'd be happy.
How do you get involved in competition barbecue? How do you first find out about it?
Well, a friend of mine asked me to volunteer for Memphis in May, and I started as an ambassador, and I worked my way through. I just loved it. I love the people. I love working with the teams, and some of those first-year people I met are still my dearest friends today. So I feel very, very fortunate to have been exposed to barbecue early on. Through those connections and through working very hard, I went through ambassadors and worked my way up to chair of ambassadors. And then when Memphis and May decided not to become or carry on the sanctioning network across the country, and Memphis Barbecue Network was formed, then I went and joined being a rep with Memphis Barbecue Network for some time. Then came back to Memphis and May to run their judging for a bit. And then from there, I went on to chair barbecue. And then for the last few years, I worked media with them.
What was that first year you did Memphis and May, the very first one?
I was trying to think because, we were going to talk about myself. I want to say it was either 99 or 2000.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember.
When you look back over what is a long history involved with Memphis and May, and obviously you have a lot of great memories there, but I remember having Kerry Bringle on towards the end of last year, and he's a little bit of a lightning rod as far as his decision to go away from Memphis and May, join the steering committee on Smokeslam. We'll talk about that with you here in a second. And he listed a very compelling number of grievances, for lack of a better term, of here's what it used to be like, here's why I loved it, and then over time, these things started getting taken away from the festival. And it wasn't always just about the barbecue side of things. There were many things that he thought should have been left in, to a point where he seemed a bit disenchanted. There's a new opportunity that opens up. He's open up to doing it. He's not afraid of taking any heat, whether it be locally in person in Nashville or obviously through social media. So he joins the steering committee. When you look back over your time in Memphis and May, what were the great things? And then as time wears on, what made you open to fielding what ended up being a question of, hey, are you interested in joining a steering committee too?
Right. You had Malcolm on. And so I've been very blessed to see Malcolm win Grand in patio and look at Malcolm today.
Yep.
I've seen those substantial changes and what an impact. Barbecue was barbecue back then. Right now, in the last, 10, 12 years, barbecue's sexy. Barbecue is that lightning rod of everybody wants to be a part of, which back then it wasn't to that extent. So I have to say that I've worked very hard, and I work very hard with Memphis and May and other volunteers and other people with the organization. And I don't say I'm doing it at all. I've learned a great deal, but it's a very large contest, and there's some things they have to hold true to in their work. And what I saw with talking to everybody at Smokeslam was everything I dreamed it would be. It was like I wish for in a contest, what I wish for in these quality experiences the teams need to have, our judges, as well as our volunteers, because I've been a volunteer, pretty much my whole career. So I really want to make sure that those particular groups are taken care of as we move forward with Smokeslam.
I'm asking you to speculate, and if you don't want to, don't. Do you think Memphis and May, the event or the organization itself, is in some type of peril, whether it be financially or disinterest growing with the contest itself to where it might dry up in a year, 2 or 3? Do you think that's a real thing or not so much?
All of us, they're 501c, their P&Ls are published. You read exactly what I read. I wish everybody there the best, to watch stage is pretty great. It's one of the top contests. I don't want to speculate on something because I'm not in the room. I see that, the numbers like you do. I know that, what the losses have been, but, Mac now just this past week talking about how strong and what a financial great future they have. So,
when were you approached by Smoke Slam to join the steering committee?
I wasn't directly approached by Smoke Slam. It was kind of like indirectly back in late fall toward, and then we seriously started talking around December about joining. And I talked to Carrie, I talked to several key people, but after I met with Milton and Mike and several people, I saw what they had to say. I loved what they wanted to do. I know there's been a lot of talk about a for-profit company versus a nonprofit. Nonprofit is just a type of organization. It doesn't mean you're a charity. It doesn't mean you're philanthropic. But when I look at what the founders of Forward Momentum and those connected with Smoke Slam, they are very driven toward giving back to the city, toward looking at great causes to incorporate within our event. And that's what got me, because I'm all about paying it forward. And I'm really excited about what we have moving in that area of philanthropic work that I hope that we can share very soon.
What are they bringing you on to do specifically? What are going to be your day-to-day roles?
I'm doing a little bit of everything. I was brought on because when you looked at the big picture, Menfo Presents is very strong in presenting events, and they just didn't have a contest type background with running an event like this. And so that's where my area of expertise comes in, with bringing together, we have the sanctioning bodies of the NBN, as we've noted, and we have World Food Championships that's coming in and doing our ancillaries. So we're very excited about bringing those two together for a sanctioned and promoting barbecue through those means. So just day to day, I am doing spreadsheets and working on team timelines, working with production to ensure that we're protecting the park, because we've got a great team looking out for that, and to maximize the space so we can see, just how many teams we can get into the area and have a great contest and run it timely, because it is going to have to run very timely.
So for the folks on the fence, those folks, I mean teams, and then just for the everyday fan that's kind of looking at this as I am, seeing a new event pop up, wondering how this is going to come off. Tell us about the event, specifically the competition, and how it's going to run and be judged.
Okay, so let's talk about the festival. It's a festival. It's very unique in the fact that we have not only a barbecue competition that's run by two great sanctioning bodies, but we also have that festival spirit where we're going to have engagement of music. We've got some carnival rides. We've got a Ferris wheel. We've got a carousel. We really want to, like you say, we want those barbecue people to that are coming in to attend, that they have a good time. We're going to have engagement with hopefully some pork, some different products where we're able to engage with the general public as well as from a VIP standpoint. So it'll be a multi-level experience. We want everybody that walks in those gates to be able to have music, to be able to walk around and see the teams, as well as be very engaged from a interactive standpoint with some of the things we've got coming on.
How is the competition going to run?
We are going to have ancillaries, which I wrote them down just so I wouldn't forget anything. We've got World Food Championship. They're going to be running our ancillaries on Thursday and Friday. We've got dessert, duck, seafood, poultry, wings, beef, and one of my favorites, bacon. We do that at Hogs for a Cause, and I love it. And then we'll be giving those awards away on Friday night. And then Saturday is Pork Championship Day with Memphis Barbecue Network running that. And we'll have whole hog, we'll have pulled pork, and pork ribs. And it'll be unique. It won't be the standard MBN sanctioned event. It will be a combination of preliminary on sites as well as blind, and then with finals be on site as well.
What's the normal?
So
what's the normal Memphis barbecue? Is it just blind that first round and then on site through the finals?
Yes. They changed it up almost. I guess it's been almost 10 years ago, because it was just more affordable for teams. That's a lot of meat to prepare for, on site as well as blind, and then be prepared for your finals. So it was really a savings, and it's resulted in the Memphis Barbecue Network growing a great deal. I think they have 40 plus contests this year, and the team attendance is very high per event.
So in the past, you had to cook all three categories if you were a team?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, no. You cook any you wanted to. You could cook just ribs if you wanted to, or you could cook all three.
Got it. Same this year. So in Smoke Slam, you can cook all three if you want, or you can just cook ribs or pulled pork or whole hog.
You can do whatever you want to. You just got to cook one.
Entry fee wise, what are we looking at?
So for the smaller spaces, it was $2,000, and that includes your entry fees for the MBN. It included a MBN admin fee. It included two 20 amps 110s. It included a porta potty. I mean, we're trying to do as much as possible just to make it affordable for teams to come in and participate, because some just haven't been able to come and compete in Memphis because of cost, because they don't all have big sponsors.
Prize-wise, what are we looking at from a cash opportunity? I've mentioned it a few different times on the show, but if you want to break down what the ancillaries look like, and then, of course, what the major meets in an overall.
Yeah, so $250,000 total, which is the highest barbecue payout, I think, in history.
Yep.
Yes, huge. With the ancillaries, we're placing 5 in each category, and that's a total of $40,000. So, like you say, if you're cook a few ancillaries, then and most of the teams are signing up for all or multiple in the ancillaries, and then that I'm seeing so far. And then for MBN, for the Pork Championship, we have a $50,000 grand prize. And then our first places go from $15,000 to $5,000.
So
placing 1 through 5.
If you just cook MBN and you win a major meat, so pulled pork, whole hog, or ribs, you get $15,000 for that, and then that puts you in the running for overall. If you win overall, now you're totaled at 65, and that's before any ancillaries you might win, and you can get money on top of that. And World Food Championship invites, right?
Yes, I was just about to add that. Wow. Each first we have will get a ticket to the World Food Championships. So it's a win-win. We plan on having a great time, from a general public foodie aspect to great barbecue competition.
Do you know if there's any type of multi-year agreement that's set in place right now between Smoke Slam and Memphis River Park's partnership, specifically with Tom Lee Park?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I can elaborate a little bit on that. We're here for the long haul. We have a 10-year agreement.
Wow.
So we're looking forward to really making Smoke Slam that event to attend and be a part of. and the excitement I'm feeling from the teams is just great. It's awesome.
How many are signed up, like locked and loaded right now?
I don't really want to release. I can release it to you a little bit later, just because we're trying to maximize the park as much as possible. So we've got meetings tomorrow again to see how we can fit the teams in. We don't want to be huge, Greg. We want to make sure we have a controlled area where, we're utilizing those spaces we can. We want to be very cognizant of the park and, the load-bearing road. We've got to be very careful on that.
Can I have you hold on 1 second here? I'll do a piece of business. We'll come back and talk about some other stuff related to Smoke Slam.
Yeah.
All right. Stand by. Sure. We're talking with Melzie Wilson from Smoke Slam, the organizer over there, and just learning that there's a 10-year agreement. So, indeed, long haul, yes, I would say so. I would have been shocked at like a 3-year deal. Listen up, gang. Our friends over at Big Papa Smokers have something special just for you, the listener of the show. Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or grilling newbie, Big Papa Smokers is your one-stop shop for all things barbecue, from their championship rubs, mouth-watering sauces, essential accessories. They've got what you need to take your food to the next level, whether you're on the competition circuit or you're just in the backyard like me. Here's the cherry on top. Big Papa Smokers is offering the listeners of the Barbecue Central show an exclusive deal. Use promo code REMPE at checkout. That's REMPE. You'll get $10 off your next $50 purchase of rubs, sauces, and accessories. Now, imagine the possibilities. Evaluate your ribs with Big Papa's Sweet Money or Sweet Money Hot. Or add Big Papa's Desert Gold to your chicken or vegetables, or better yet, pick up Double Secret. Put it on your steak. Head on over to BigPapaSmokers.com and start shopping today. Don't forget to use the promo code REMPE, REMPE, at checkout to claim your $10 off your next order of $50 or more. You're saving money. It's easy. Don't forget to check out Big Papa's full line of recipes at Cooking with Big Papa. That's cookingwithbigpapa.com. Of course, follow him on social media as well. Promo code REMPE to save you $10 off of $50. We're back with more Melzie Wilson and Smoke Slam right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
We welcome you back here. Barbecue Central Show, and we're talking with Melzie Wilson from Smoke Slam. The website, of course, smokeslam.com. If you want to check it out while we're talking, maybe you're interested in team signing up, you can do that there as well. So we learned as we were headed out that there's a 10-year agreement between Smoke Slam, Memphis River Parks partnership. So certainly encouraging to hear that there was that type of self-belief in this event, from both sides of the fence, by the way, that this is going to be something that's going to continue to grow and gain popularity. So I've talked to a lot of people about this event. No one seems to believe that this is sheer coincidence that Tom Lee Park opens up and magically there's a brand new contest to backfill the vacancy in the park. And this may be before. So I guess the long question is this. You look back at last year's Memphis in May taking place in a newly renovated Tom Lee Park. They have it. It's tore up, at least according to where the damage bill is, at $1.4 million. And then they're on the hook for, after deposits, $600,000, $700,000, whatever it is. Now they're battling in court, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a worry that a brand new Smoke Slam is going to slot in to a area that has already seen a fairly major barbecue competition, and at the end of it, there's going to be a huge bill for repairing roads and sod and sprinkling machines and fences and small kids and whatever else.
Right. So, we were talking about earlier about, limit space for teams participating. We're very cognizant of the fact that we have to keep to those load-bearing, roads. And then we've brought in specialists. Metfo Presents, to begin with, has experts in having events in those sensitive areas. So they've got that experience. But we have brought in an environmental planning project team.
Wow.
And so they will be working hand in hand with us. Last Monday, every director head within the event for the whole month came in, and we walked Tom Lee Park. We walked it with MRPP. We had specialists with our vendors with, laying track, making sure that, what curbs we could come across. There's a lot of preventive maintenance and preventive measures being put into place in order to minimize all of that to a max.
Is there any expectation set by Memphis River Parks that even with your best efforts, expect to get X type of bill by the time this thing is over, or no?
That wasn't even discussed. I mean, they were very thankful that we brought them in, that they will be hand in hand with us and with production guys, and as we move forward. I mean, they ask a lot of questions, and we had all the right answers. I'm very fortunate to work with such a phenomenal team in Metfo Presents.
Isn't there any type of worry though that if you don't talk about that in advance, like that's not the bill you want as the surprise bill? So any insight you can get ahead of time where we think it might not exceed X or Y, then at least there's some type of expectation set and not just hoping for the best.
Well, I mean, that's why all these preventive measures are being put into place. I mean, a great deal is being put, once I can show some, we could look at the diagram of what is being put in to give a thorough way for teams to get to their places in order to minimize damage. Everything's being done to where we don't discuss a bill like was in the past.
To your knowledge, there were no discussions about this event or no bringing it up before Memphis in May last year?
Not to my knowledge. And we had a great meeting with MRPP. They were in most of our meetings on Monday. And like I said, we walked the full length of the park, and he was very pleased with everything Mike, Jerry, everybody had to say about what was going to happen.
One of the most recurring questions that I hear, and that's being asked of me, and I don't know why anybody asks me any questions about this. Why is this going on the same weekend as Memphis in May? It's affecting the turnout for both events. If you're going to have them on the same weekend, you're pulling from the same competition pool, and in the end, it's hurting everybody. It's not helping everybody. So why go against Memphis in May on the same weekend?
Greg, I'm going to have to disagree with you because we're taking a little bit of different approach. Like I said, we're using the MBN to begin with from a competition standpoint. We are utilizing the MBN and the World Food Championship. We've got teams coming from both those areas. They together have over 500 competitive active teams. So will there be some teams that will move over? And I'm sure there will be that won't cook in the other contest. But, there's a lot of teams that we're seeing strong MBN, strong World Food. I mean, I got contacted by a team. It's KCBS teams. It's 4 teams that have gotten together and they're going to compete. So you're going to see a different platform of phenomenal pit masters that are going to be performing. And it's a performance. I consider barbecue competition a sport myself, and there's going to be a lot of great competition down there, a lot of great teams, and with a twist. Besides that awesome event with the barbecue, we're going to have a festival. We've got music. We've got War that's headlining on Friday night, which that's been, War. I'm not going to sing. I don't sing, but it's been playing in my head ever since they told me. So we've got War. We've got, we're looking at local music. We've got, we're hopefully, bringing in and kind of like doing like a festival, mini arcade, as I said, along with the Ferris wheel, the carousel. We're going to have interactive sections of the park where, our audience, whether VIP or a general admission, can learn more about barbecue. We hope to have some demonstrations, some bazaar areas to profile local Memphis business, as well as barbecue business and products. So, it's going to be a festival. It's going to be a fun time, whether you're a barbecue person or you're just in the area visitor and want to have a great time in a great looking park down on the river.
So people are reading too much into the same weekend?
I think so. This is Memphis. This is barbecue country. No shame to anybody else, Texas or anybody else that says, they're the barbecue capital. But Memphis can bring it. I mean, they really can. And the surrounding areas. I mean, we've got teams coming in from 12 states. That's a lot of impact to the city of Memphis, to tourism, to hotels, restaurants, etc., grocery stores, buying stuff, so we're just very proud that we're able to come in, have the expertise, and pull off a phenomenal event for city of Memphis, for businesses, and for these great barbecue competition teams.
Let me give you a conspiracy theory, and you tell me if I'm full of shit or not.
Lay it on me.
Here we go. To me,
okay,
putting on...
You can cuss on your show?
Well, this is the internet, so we can do whatever we want.
Oh.
Putting on an event this big, head-to-head with what many consider to be a major barbecue event that takes place every year, that being Memphis in May. Mm-hmm. This is a power play. So my thought is Smoke Slam is either looking to run Memphis in May right out of town or look to force them nicely, or maybe not so nicely, into a merge or partnership in some way going forward outside of this year. Possibility?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
We see ourselves as something completely different. We're here for the long term, like we said. We're also here to just bring a solid family fun event for the city of Memphis, for visitors, and to have a phenomenal barbecue experience for our teams. I mean, we've got the NBN, we've got World Foods. They've not been involved with the other festival. Mm-hmm. I will say other because you've used it other about us. But no, I think there's room to play in the sandbox for both of us.
Was sanctioning key for you? Did you want to have this first year event sanctioned no matter what?
Yes.
Were you looking into other sanctioning bodies besides NBN?
Would you have the Texas Barbecue Association be doing Memphis barbecue event?
Well,
I mean, really.
Well, what about EAT?
What?
Why not have EAT, or World Food Championships runs the EAT methodology? You could run their scoring system all the way through if you wanted, I suppose, as an option.
We could, but yes. But, what we worked with them on the ancillaries is such a major play for us. I've never attended an event. I have friends that are judges. I see all the pictures. I follow them. I think they're going to do an awesome job with our World Foods, but we wanted to bring it home with the Memphis Barbecue Network and their expertise and guidance, and just, highlight that. It's Memphis. It's barbecue.
Another conspiracy theory.
Tell me.
What about conversations that maybe Ford Momentum or Memphis Fest wanted to have with Memphis and Maine? Say, hey, guys, gals, you got this historic barbecue contest, but you're pissing it all away and you don't even realize it. If we can come together here, work together, we have all these great ideas. We can re-festivalize. I don't even think that's a word, but we can re-festivalize this and make it as great as it was, decades ago. Not saying it's not as great, but it's not. Let us help you. And that there was a rebuffing by Memphis and Maine. Said, no. We know what we want to do. This is the way we're going to do it. And you make your own contest if you think you can do better.
Now, I don't know about that conversation. I'll be honest with you. My area is, what I just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been brought in as for a barbecue expert, not to sit in the boardroom and make those decisions or be a part of those conversations. And I am happy to be brought in and tickle pink about, just doing what I'm doing, and that's promoting barbecue in Memphis. And just every single day we say, whatever we're going to do, whatever action we take has to result in a quality experience. And that's our focus.
Outside of Smoke Slam, and you mentioned it very briefly, you are part of Hogs for a Cause. What are you doing for them? And what do you like?
Yes. I have been their judging coordinator. It's really, can I tell you a quick story?
Please.
So I don't know how much you know about Hogs for the Cause, but it was a group of friends that got together to help one of their friends whose son was suffering from pediatric brain cancer. So they had a backyard fundraiser. Then they had a block party. And within a very short period of time, they were at City Park in New Orleans, and they had no formal approach. So one of my employees, because I'm in international logistics, so one of my employees was sitting between two of the founders, and they were going back and forth on the airplane stating, what do we do? What do we do? Finally, she pulled out a business card. She wrote my number on the back. She goes, y'all need help. They called me the next week. I went down to New Orleans, and the rest is history. I love those guys. We've got down to a clockwork. It's what we raised, I think, and I had a bet and I won $5 million.
Wow.
Right at $5 million. And it's one of those nonprofits that they work very hard, and they try so hard to give away so much money. And they're about to open up their second hog house in Baton Rouge. It's almost finished. So it's an awesome experience. It's Memphis Barbecue Network. I brought them in, and they run it as a non-sanctioned event. So it's really different in that we have some judges that are certified, but we want to keep that free spirit of, do I like it or not? So we actually have a lot of people that sign up to judge, that we teach them on the spot. So it's never a dull moment. And it's nothing for us to have 60-something hogs and 100 entries in all the rest of the categories. It's a busy 2 days.
The other organization you're involved with, Melissa Cookson, was just telling us about a couple months ago. I think we might have been, when she was on the last time, we might have been a week away from the final championship. Is it the World Junior Barbecue Association?
World Junior Barbecue League.
Yep.
Yes. And it's focused on young people from 14 to 18 in high school or equivalent. And I tell you what, they laugh at me. But I cry all the time when I see the impact just with just with meeting those kids the Friday at Cook's meeting, and then going all the way working with them through that following evening at awards, it touches your heart. It's a grand experience, and I'm very proud that Melissa thinks enough of me to have me a part of her organization on that.
This is Melzie Wilson. She's the organizer at SmokeSlam. The website's smokeslam.com. If you want to check it out here, especially if you're getting it over podcast, you can't listen or you can't watch it while we're talking here. The event, May 16th through May 18th. And again, the website, smokeslam.com. Melzie, appreciate the extended time here this evening. Look back on your background and then talking about SmokeSlam and its competitor, the other one over there at Liberty Park. And really looking forward to seeing how this is coming off. By the way, if there's any breaking news or anything you want to come on and share as we lead up to it, please reach out, and we'd love to have you back on.
We would love to. We've got so much coming our way that I'd love to ping you and just get a bite, just a sound bite, and share it with you.
All right. Melzie,
we're
appreciate
excited.
It. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It's Melzie Wilson right there. Lot to unpack. We'll do that when we come back. Maybe also when we have a new show next week. We'll look at that. The clock's not too bad. So we will do this last piece of business and we'll come back and wrap the show. Smokeslam.com, the website. I believe social media is the same, SmokeSlam. So go ahead and check them out. As we get ready to close it out here, for those of you who share a passion, if you are a fellow passionado about the premium hand-rolled cigars, you know it's time for the Aladino Reed. Yes, JRE Tobacco. Makers of the Aladino line, the Corojo Reserve, Aladino Classic, Aladino Sumatra, just to name a few. I have I think Petite Corona in Aladino Classic. Wow, stupendous. 4x40. If you want a sample, I can send you some out my dime, no problem. I'll get you hooked. They're like 35 minutes. Again, full cigar experience, great flavor, nothing too harsh. I like to say Aladino is full flavor, but in that medium strength category, maybe at least for me. I mean, it can differ from person to person because we're all human, right? But if you want to try a classic, I got it in a smaller size. If you want a Corojo Reserva, I got some box-pressed Figurados, which require the most elite rollers to do. So email me and I'll ship you some samples if you would care to. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Just let me know if you would like to try some Aladinos, and I'll send them right out within that week that you send me the email. Here's the bottom line. Trying out different blends from the Aroa family. They own JRE Tobacco. It demonstrates our expertise in mastering hard-to-grow tobaccos, the varieties, blending them in a way that a smoking experience always second to none with them. Again, if you want a sample, email me. I'll send them your way. Otherwise, visit a retailer, jretobacco.com. Find a retailer near you. And if you already have a retailer but they don't carry JRE Tobacco products, tell them to do so. I can help you out. I can help facilitate that. We're back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. Getting ready to wrap it up. Drunken Honky weighing in. Well, Greg done it again. He asked the questions and they are avoiding them. What? Sometimes people aren't in the room, Drunken Honky. We thank Melzie Wilson for joining us the last two segments. Smokeslam.com is the website. If you would like to check that out, if you're a team interested in competing, you can go out and fill out that application and all that stuff. And now we've got a break neck to get out. See if we can hit the clock. All the way back in the first hour, Meathead joined us. AmazingRibs.com. Then it was Robert Moss talking about lesser-known cuts from the past, robertfmoss.com. And then for the last two segments, it was Melzie Wilson, organizer at SmokeSlam. SmokeSlam.com is the website. Big show planned for you next week. Third Tuesday of the month, Steve Ray, former embedded correspondent from Tennessee, is coming back with an HBBA recap. Then we have Wes Wright, and we have other things going on in the second hour that I can't remember. So, how do I always leave? September 11, 2001. I will never forget. Happy birthday, 21st, Maddie Rempe. And until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Brisketor, the barbecue wizard, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Bye-bye!